Oh, hold on. Is Instagram? Oh, I think Instagram connected. I think Instagram connected. It definitely looks like it, but it's so delayed. It's unbelievable how delayed Instagram is. So delayed. Trying to go live 52 times this year. Trying to go live more. Live slash trying to stream slash go trying to stream slash go live more. Say what's up. What's up? Hi. Hi. Welcome. All right, cool. So Instagram's live. Where's my Substack at? My Substack's also live. So it's all live now. Okay, yeah. So that's working here. Business planning for the chocolate factory, period. Ask me anything. Smile. Never would have made it without you. There we go. That's a good one. I think that's a good one. I like that one. Ask me anything. Yeah, I'll pin the comment. Fooled by the rocks that I got. No. Oh, and I'm live on Facebook. Oh, gotta mute that. Or did it already get muted? It did already get muted. Trying to go live. Stream slash go live more. Hi. Welcome. Doing some business planning for the chocolate factory. Ask me anything about it. Yeah, that's cool. Doing some planning for the chocolate factory. Ask me anything. Yep, that's good. And we are live on Substack as well. Let's see here, YouTube. And I'm live on YouTube. Killing it. I'm cooking. Ooh, snap, that's loud. All right, moderator helps everyone feel safe. All right, cool. I'm cool with moderators. Don't be dropping no bad words. Doing some business planning for the chocolate factory. Ask me anything. Yep. It's pretty good. I like it. Chats with a neighbor. And it's being recorded. So after I'm done with the stream, it's going to get posted to YouTube. Nope, that's not what I was looking for. Let's see. Oh. All right, I got Twitch. I got YouTube. I did not get the Facebook one. Okay. So Twitch and YouTube, I do see the chats. Substack and Meta, I don't. Okay. That's interesting. So I am simultaneously going live on 4 platforms right now. 5 platforms: Substack, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. There is a massive delay on the Instagram one, like 30 seconds, which is crazy, but interesting. Twitch is like a few seconds. I'm not really sure about Substack. I wasn't really looking into that one too much, but I'm streaming on those 5. I'm not streaming on my most popular one, which is my TikTok, which I do spend more time on. So that would be 6 platforms that I would be streaming on when I'm adding TikTok to it. And that's the idea. It's live streaming and just hanging out with people, answering questions with people. It will evolve into something a lot more specific, something a lot more targeted, something a lot more structured. But for right now, I'm building the discipline. I'm building the habit of making sure that I'm showing up and doing the steps. I'm stretching. I'm stretching before the race, before the competition is what I'm doing now. I'm making sure that like the things work the way they're supposed to. This is my first multi-platform stream, which I'm really excited about. I have a lot of content that I want to put out, but I have found myself constrained wanting to do too many different things. And at first I was like, okay, maybe I'm trying too hard to do all of these things that a content creator would be doing. Podcasts, collabs, short form content, hooks, subscriptions. I'm also working on merch, which is part of it. Like any chocolate factory or chocolate bar manufacturer or whatever has merch. That's part of owning a shop or a store. And mine is going to be a digital store, a virtual store, hence the virtual neighbor. Like you don't have to physically be around other people that you're inspired by to do great things. That would be great to have a neighborhood that has that for you, but more often than not, people are constrained by the circumstances of geography that really restrict them from thinking a different way or meeting other people who think the way they think. I go political because the blue dot in a red state is a prime example of that. When it comes to people hating immigrants, and then on the other side of the coin, people who are accepting of their neighbors. So there's limitations that come from your environment, is what I'm trying to say. And the meta virtual digital space is a space for that lonely kid to not feel so lonely anymore. I grew up on a cacao farm, first 9 years of my life in Esmeraldas, Ecuador. It was primarily an Afro-Ecuadorian community. My parents had the race talk with me, but it was in reverse than how the race talk is typically had in the United States, where you let disenfranchised, marginalized, statistically, not just statistically, a child. I think, what do they say? Like brown boys are accused of being more troublemakers in elementary school than other like groups of kids. Like there's things about it that like obviously every person of color or whatever um has heard you have to work twice as hard to get half as far, while somebody else that looks like me can flow through life easier because cis gender white male whatever. Like if I can create a virtual neighborhood and a virtual community where I act out my best version of what a good neighbor is, but and express kindness and empathy through a median like the algorithm, where maybe it might reach that kid. Because when I first started posting, and as I continue to post, it's to gain attention. I want attention to go to me slash Vesti del Mundo to this page, because when I'm ready to sell my chocolate from Ecuador to try to bring the chocolate economy to the cacao farmers who are supposed to profit off of the chocolate industry, since they're the ones who do the hard labor to get you chocolate, they should profit and benefit financially and equitably on the chocolate business that should exist next door to the cacao farm, aka neighbors. And if I can have you see me as a virtual neighbor, I can hopefully translate that same attitude to seeing people from the other side of the world basically also as your neighbor. And that's a huge beast of a project to try to convince racist white guys that you should have empathy to people who might not be next door to you, because the neighborhood you live in is a very isolated, gated, private environment that doesn't allow you to meet all of your neighbors under the sun. If we're all going to acknowledge one another as humans, get to know some of your neighbors outside of your physical environment, because maybe you live in a trailer hood with respect, right? With respect. Maybe you live in not the white picket fence neighborhood that a lot of uh, people who look like me have experienced. So the attitude, if you have to work twice as hard to get half as far, I'm familiar with. And I totally lost my train of thought. But when I moved to this country, I came from a very, very, very underprivileged community, and I had the race talk, or my parents had the race talk with me of, hey, you look different than everybody around you, and just be mindful of that. Just be aware of that. Like that's just how it is. Um, why? Because I need to make sure that I just stand out. Anybody with a U.S. passport in those cacao farms would stand out. Like it's just a different thing. And my parents lived it's an interesting place. Esmeraldas. We have family and we know people close to us who have been kidnapped, put in a hole, fingers sent to people's families. Like those stories are very real. And my parents raised me and my younger brother around that. I loved, look, hindsight being 2020, nothing happened to us there. Knock on wood, nothing has happened. Hopefully, nothing will happen. But uno nunca sabe. So that was my first 9 years of my life on a cacao farm. Then moving to North Carolina, where the people who look like me for the first time, there's others who look like me, white kids. There's other white kids here. I'm like, oh my god, this is cool. Like, I am not the minority, if you will. And as I experienced middle school and high school in North Carolina, I was having a grand old time, but I never totally existed in the same mental place as the others. And that sounds kind of strange, but like I moved to the United States barely knowing English. Like I had ESL for 2 years. That's English as a second language. Um, I had summer classes because I failed like my EOGs because again I could barely understand what I was reading in the tests and prompts. So I've had some interesting and unique experiences that are very different at the age of 9, 10, 11 that are very different than the average person who looks like me. So then when I developed, you know, my English, I forgot a little bit of the Spanish. Granted, todavía estoy mejorando mi español, puedo hablar y entiendo mucho más que puedo hablar, pero todavía puedo hablar español, en mi opinión. Um, and I and man, just like everybody else, like the state of democracy in the nation that I love is really really just got me. I've always been involved in these things. I've had friends of mine from like middle school and in high school who were Palestinian. Like I didn't know every specific of everything, but I just knew that Israel was a terrorist state from a very long time ago. And like the specifics of the law, I didn't know back then. I just knew I'm like something about this doesn't make sense. And then obviously things, escalated more recently. Or at least got more public, like whatever. And I also have Jewish friends who and had Jewish friends who, I played um the the spin game. My bad. Hanukkah. What's the name of the game? Dreidel. Yeah, we spun the dreidel. So I've had American experiences with a spectrum of people, which is, in my opinion, the American experience. Kids going to school, going back home, speaking another language because their parents, like, that is America. Like, that is the American experience. So that's why I love this country, for the honest definition of the American experience, which is immigration. And it's interesting that when we moved to the United States when I was 9, it was North Carolina that we moved to. Home of the KKK, y'all. Like that I learned there's a lot of black people down here, of course. I got along, I'm not going to say I got along better with them, but I grew up around Afro Ecuadorians my entire life to that point, 9 years old. So I probably did, but I'm not going to specifically say that because I had friends with everybody. As I was friends, but there, there's just I blended in rooms that I was shocked that I found myself in. I'm on the record as saying, and I've said this often, and I believe this out of my life's experiences. This is the best way to describe like who I am / how I feel about it, how I see a lot of things, and that's this white man face of mine gives me a superpower of making other white men feel comfortable. That's what I believe this face and the skin that I exist in say is I will always, as a white person first and as a man as well, a white man, they will cast judgment other white men of, oh, this is one of mine. I can say X, Y, and Z. I can, say these things within seconds of meeting me. Like they just feel comfortable. And it's just like, cool, cool, cool. And I don't hang out these aren't my friends anymore. They weren't never my friends, but like just any person, acquaintances, whatever. Like it's obnoxious. It's very obnoxious because I don't in the past. So anyway, so I moved here. I had friends of mine in all groups. Recently, obviously, it's gotten more. Temperature has been turned up like everybody else. So I've just really had to like let go of so many previous engagements that I've had with a lot of white people. And people are like, Andrew, why, or Vessi, why are you constantly talking about, like, people are like, Vessi, why are you talking about race? Like, why do you talk about race in a lot of like things that you talk about? I'm like, well, I am a product of an interracial union, an interracial marriage. Like, I have a white guy dad, I have an Ecuadorian mom. I lived two unique and distinct childhoods. First 9 years of my childhood in a cacao farm in Ecuador. The second 9 years, second half of my childhood in North Carolina. And then the past 3 years, I've been doing a lot of traveling. I work remote. So all I need is my computer and Wi-Fi. And for the past 3 years, 3 years ago, tried to buy a house, got outbid, and I'm like, okay, cool. Sold our possession, sold like 80% of our stuff, sold the car, put some boxes in my mom's guest room closet. Shout out, mom. And then just have been living out of suitcases for the past 3 years now and it's been great. I've been traveling through Latin America, meeting a lot of different kinds of people. And I hope that, and I do plan on, and right now I'm just parked in North Carolina for a little bit, kind of get more clarity on the chocolate business, figure out the direction on content and branding strategies. There are a lot of steps to building this vertically integrated chocolate business, because like we're planting the trees, taking care of the trees, harvesting the cacao, like doing all like the full scope. And I'm trying to do it in Ecuador. Originally, I was like, oh, I'll just build it in North Carolina and then I'll move the factory to Ecuador. But now that I'm like, I don't want to pay twice to build something. Like I want to build it in Ecuador, pay more money up front, work harder up front to do it from Ecuador. So then once it's built and it's at least like making a little bit of profit, then I can focus on hardcore selling. And then it's like, all right, now we can figure out like how to expand the brand. Um, and having like more business to business deals, because we'll be selling like cocoa powder also, and cocoa butter, ideally to bakers and people who like, and chocolate chips to bakers. So we'll do things like that. But it's a lot, and I'm in no rush because um, I can't convert my parents' kitchen into a home food cottage processor because we have a pet. So, we don't want our Charlie to, not be with us anymore, but she's old. So, it might be a year, might be 2 years, might be a week, who knows. Um So again, building something in the United States doesn't make sense. So I'll go ahead and like take my time as I'm building the brand, building the factory in Ecuador, and the cacao process as well. So those are just some of the things that I'm excited about. In the past 3 years, I've been traveling, I've been writing, I've been living in different places. Actually, I'm gonna give you a quick rundown of the places that I lived in since going nomad. Puerto Rico, Washington, D.C., New York City, Chicago, 3 summers in a row. Love Chicago. Also, now went to Playa del Carmen for like a month and a half, almost 2 months. That was a lot of fun. I really like Playa del Carmen one more than I like Cancun. Mexico City, 2 different times. Planning on going back later this year. Uh, Obvio, Ecuador. Yep, go back every year. Was in Lima for 2 months. Didn't really like that too much. I mean, it was cool. The food was great, but it was just cloudy because we went even in like November and December when we went, like it was still cloudy. I was like, ah, because you guys got like 4 hours of like direct sunlight, and you guys are like, oh, that's a lot of sun. I'm like, man, no, it's not. It's crazy. So yeah. Um, so those are some of the places that I've traveled to. I also went to Panama City Beach in like I think January or February, one of these past Januaries and Februarys, because we found a really cheap Airbnb and we're like, yeah, sure, we'll stay there. Um, Tampa, we were in Tampa for a month and a half. That was cool. Saw some family there. Um, let's see here. Oh, Buenos Aires. Yeah, that was also a lot of fun. Really, really liked Buenos Aires. I think went to Vegas for a week, but that was more like a vacation. Grand Canyon was dope. And for the rest of this year, we'll be in New York City in July or June, July for the World Cup. That'll be cool. And after that, we'll be going to Mexico City again. We're typically in the Condesa, Roma, Polanco area for the most part when we go down there. I know, gentrifiers. I've made content about that too. Um, and then later, Italy, and then Paris is probably where we will be in the Q3, Q4 time. So those are some of the places that we plan on traveling to. I have 2 more minutes before I am jumping off. Um, the software that I am using is called Riverside. So it allows me to record like a 30-minute, or it allows me to go live on 5 different platforms and also record the live. So then when I post it on YouTube or as a podcast or whatever, um, it's all done with 30 minutes worth of content. Also, I can clip this and post like clips of the podcast. That's another thing that I'm also looking forward to doing as well. Oh, album's done. And all I've been basically listening to is J. Cole. So 2 6. Wow, bitch. 2 6. Wow, bitch. 2 6. Wow, bitch. 2 6. So yeah, but yeah, I did get a ban on TikTok, and they said it was because I was having, or I was like sexually explicit content, I think is the term that they used, and I was just talking to the camera kind of like this. Now I will say there was something in my hand that might have been burning, picking up what I'm putting down, but it wasn't on screen. So like I didn't expect anything to really come from that, you know. All right. Well, thank you for joining. I plan on going live more often. I do plan on posting 53 of these on YouTube. So this is one of them.